The morning sun shone through the cloudy sky as Sophia Sinclair stood in front of Westlake High School. Her heart beat fast in her chest. This was her third school in 5 years. She took a deep breath and squeezed the straps of her plain black backpack. "You got this," she whispered to herself, pushing open the heavy glass doors. The hallway buzzed with students rushing to lockers and morning classes. Nobody noticed Sophia at first, which was exactly how she wanted it. Her mom had gotten a job at the local hospital, so here they were, starting over again in a new town. Sophia kept her head down as she walked to the office. She wore simple blue jeans, white sneakers, and a gray hoodie, nothing fancy that would make her stand out. Her dark hair was tied back in a simple ponytail, and she wore no makeup. But even dressed down, there was something special about her. The way she walked showed quiet strength. The shape of her face, especially around the eyes and jawline, might have seemed familiar to movie fans. The truth was, Sophia wasn't just any new girl. She was the granddaughter of one of Hollywood's biggest action stars, Vin Diesel. But that wasn't something she told people. Ever. "Welcome to Westlake," said Mrs. Chen, the school secretary, handing Sophia her schedule. "First period is starting in 10 minutes. Do you need help finding your classroom?" "No thanks," Sophia replied politely. "I can find it." As she walked through the hallway, she felt some eyes turning her way. New faces always got attention, but Sophia had learned how to handle it. Her grandfather had taught her how to stay calm when people were watching. "Keep your cool," he told her during their training sessions in his home gym. True power isn't about showing off. It's about knowing what you can do and only using it when you need to. Those training sessions weren't just fun family time. They were serious. Her grandfather had taught her proper fighting techniques since she was 7 years old. Not that anyone here would know that. Sophia found her first class, English literature with Ms. Patel. She slipped into an empty seat near the back. "Hey," whispered the girl next to her, a friendly-looking student with glasses and curly hair. "I'm Nisha. You must be new." "Sophia," she replied with a small smile. As the teacher started taking attendance, Sophia noticed a group of students at the front who kept turning to look at her. 3 girls and 2 boys, all dressed in expensive clothes, whispering and laughing. Their leader seemed to be a tall girl with perfect hair who kept giving Sophia quick looks up and down. Great, Sophia thought. Every school had them. When lunchtime came, Sophia found a quiet table near the window. She was halfway through her sandwich when Nisha appeared. "Mind if I join you?" Nisha asked. "Please do," Sophia said, grateful for the company. They were talking about the book they were studying in English class when shadows fell across their table. The girl with perfect hair stood there with her friends. "You're sitting at our table," she said, her voice sweet but her eyes cold. "Sorry," Sophia said quietly. "I didn't know tables were assigned." "They're not," Nisha whispered, looking uncomfortable. "I'm Taylor," the girl said, ignoring Nisha completely. "And you're the new girl everyone's talking about." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "People are talking about me?" "Well, they will be now," Taylor smiled. "Why don't you join us? We always welcome interesting new people." Something in Taylor's tone made Sophia pause. This wasn't genuine friendliness. This was Taylor claiming her territory, seeing if Sophia would play by her rules. "Thanks," Sophia said calmly, "but I'm good here with Nisha." Taylor's smile froze. Nobody at the nearby tables was even breathing. Clearly, nobody said no to Taylor. "Your choice," Taylor said finally. "But you should know, it's better to have me as a friend than not." As Taylor and her group walked away, Nisha stared at Sophia with wide eyes. "Do you know what you just did?" she whispered. Sophia took another bite of her sandwich. Made a choice, I guess. Little did Taylor know who she was really dealing with. Sophia wasn't worried. Her grandfather hadn't just taught her how to throw a punch. He'd taught her to stand her ground. The first week passed quicker than Sophia expected. She found herself enjoying her classes, especially AP Physics with Mr. Rodriguez, a teacher who actually made science fun. By Friday, she had started eating lunch regularly with Nisha and 2 other students, Danny, a quiet boy who was a whiz at math, and Lily, who played clarinet in the school band. "There's a martial arts club that meets after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays," Lily mentioned during lunch on Friday. "You should come check it out." Sophia tried to hide her interest. Maybe. I did some training back at my old school. The following Tuesday, Sophia decided to visit the club. She changed into her gym clothes and walked into the school gymnasium where about 15 students were already warming up on blue mats spread across the floor. The coach, a middle-aged woman named Ms. Rivera, greeted her warmly. "New student, want to join in or just watch today?" "I can join," Sophia said. "Any experience?" Sophia shrugged. "Some family training. Nothing serious." Ms. Rivera paired her with a senior named Alex for some basic sparring. Sophia tried to hold back, but years of training with her grandfather kicked in automatically. When Alex attempted a simple takedown, Sophia's body reacted without thinking. In one smooth motion, she sidestepped, redirected his momentum, and had him on the mat before either of them realized what happened. The gym went quiet. Alex looked up at her, stunned. "Sorry," Sophia said, helping him up. "Lucky move." Ms. Rivera raised an eyebrow. "That didn't look like luck to me. Where did you train before?" "Just with my grandfather," Sophia said carefully. "He's into fitness." By the end of practice, word had spread about the new girl's skills. Sophia noticed Taylor and her friends watching from the doorway, whispering among themselves. The next day at lunch, Taylor walked by Sophia's table and accidentally knocked over Sophia's water bottle, spilling it across her lunch. "Oops," Taylor said with fake concern. "Clumsy me." Sophia calmly used napkins to clean up the mess, saying nothing. "What's your deal anyway?" asked Ryan, one of Taylor's friends. "You think you're too good to talk to us?" "I don't think that at all," Sophia replied evenly. "Then why did you embarrass Alex yesterday?" Taylor demanded. "He said you showed off like some kind of correct kid." "It was just practice," Sophia said. "No one was showing off." Taylor leaned closer. "Listen, you girl. I've been trying to figure you out. Where'd you come from? Your clothes aren't designer, but you act like you're somebody. Who exactly are your parents?" "My mom's a nurse," Sophia said, feeling uncomfortable with the questions. "We move around a lot for her work." "And your dad?" pressed Taylor. "Not in the picture," Sophia said shortly. Taylor smirked. "Interesting. Maybe that's why you're so odd." Nisha stood up suddenly. "Leave her alone, Taylor." Taylor looked surprised. Nisha had never stood up to her before. "Whatever," Taylor said, backing away. "See you around, mystery girl." As the days passed, Sophia noticed whispers following her in the hallway. She caught fragments. "Thinks she's special, probably lying about everything," showed up out of nowhere. During history class, Sophia found a note on her desk. "We know you're hiding something." She crumpled it up, trying to ignore the sick feeling in her stomach. That afternoon, her phone buzzed with text messages from numbers she didn't recognize. "Who are you really? Daddy issues much?" "Fake martial arts 180. Sophia blocked the numbers, but new ones kept coming. Someone had shared her phone number with half the school. In the girls' bathroom, she overheard Taylor talking to her friends. "I bet she got kicked out of her last school. My cousin goes to school in the next town over and says they had a girl who got expelled for fighting. Bet that's why she knows those moves." Sophia quietly stepped back out before they saw her. She leaned against the wall, taking deep breaths the way her grandfather had taught her when dealing with pressure. "Never let them see they got to you," he always said. "Your reaction is what gives them power." But as she walked to her next class, she couldn't help wondering how much worse this would get before it got better. What she didn't know was that Taylor and her friends were planning something that would change everything. By the third week, things had gotten worse. Taylor's group had stepped up their game, turning what started as simple rumors into an organized campaign against Sophia. In chemistry class, nobody would partner with her for lab work. In the cafeteria, people moved away when she sat down. Only Nisha, Danny, and Lily stood by her side, but even they couldn't be with her all the time. One morning, Sophia opened her locker to find her books soaked with water. Another day, someone had stuck gum all over her gym clothes. Small things, but they added up. "You should tell someone," Nisha urged as they walked to class. "This is getting out of hand." Sophia shook her head. That would just make it worse. The truth was, she had handled tougher situations before. Growing up as Vin Diesel's granddaughter had its challenges. There were always people who wanted something from her family or tried to get close for the wrong reasons. Her grandfather had taught her how to spot fake people a mile away. Real strength, he'd told her once during a quiet moment at his home gym, is knowing when not to use it. They had been practicing defense moves, and teenage Sophia had gotten frustrated when he kept blocking her attacks. Anyone can throw a punch when they're angry, he continued, his deep voice serious. But walking away when you could fight, that takes real guts. Those words echoed in Sophia's mind now as she cleaned the mess out of her locker. Walking away was exactly what she was doing, but it wasn't making things better. In AP Physics, Mr. Rodriguez assigned a group project that would count for a large part of their grade. When it came time to form groups, Sophia found herself standing alone as other students quickly paired up. "Looks like you need a group," said a voice behind her. Sophia turned to find Ryan, one of Taylor's friends, smiling at her. With him were two other students who usually hung out with Taylor's crowd. "You can join us," Ryan offered, but something in his smile didn't reach his eyes. "That's okay," Sophia began. "Miss Sinclair will work with me," Mr. Rodriguez interrupted, walking over. "I need an assistant for a special part of this project." Relief washed over Sophia. After class, she stayed behind to thank him. "I notice things," Mr. Rodriguez said simply. "And I notice you're having a rough time. But I also notice how you're handling it, with dignity," he smiled. "Reminds me of someone, actually." Sophia tensed. "Who?" "My father," he laughed. "Toughest man I knew, but never raised his voice. Said true power was in restraint." He studied her face. "You know something about that, don't you?" Sophia nodded slowly. "Well, whoever taught you did a good job," Mr. Rodriguez said. "But remember, standing up for yourself isn't the same as fighting. Sometimes silence looks like weakness to the wrong people." As Sophia walked down the empty hallway after their talk, she heard Taylor's laugh around the corner. Instinctively, she paused. "It's working," Taylor was saying. "Did you see her face when she found her books all wet?" Classic. "I don't know," a boy's voice replied. It sounded like Alex from Martial Arts Club. "Maybe we should ease up. She hasn't actually done anything wrong." "Are you kidding?" Taylor's voice hardened. "She made you look like a fool in front of everyone. And she thinks she's too good to hang with us. Nobody does that." "The social media stuff is harsh, Taylor," another voice added. "Those fake accounts in her name, that's crossing a line." Fake accounts? Sophia hadn't even heard about those yet. Whatever, Taylor dismissed them. Tomorrow's the big one anyway. Ryan got her locker combination from spying on her. "We'll put the dead frog from biology in there before first period. Everyone will be there to see her freak out." "And if she doesn't freak out?" Alex asked. "Then plan B," Taylor said. "We corner her after school. A little scare, maybe mess up that perfect ponytail of hers. She'll learn her place." Sophia backed away silently, her heart pounding. For the first time since arriving at Westlake, she felt truly afraid, not for herself, but afraid of what she might do if pushed too far. Her grandfather had taught her control, but everyone had limits. She needed to think. And maybe, just maybe, it was time to make a call home. The next morning arrived with dark clouds hanging low in the sky. It matched Sophia's mood perfectly as she pulled her hoodie tighter against the cold drizzle. Last night, she'd almost called her grandfather, but changed her mind at the last minute. This was her problem to solve. She arrived at school earlier than usual, planning to avoid the locker prank by emptying her books before Taylor's friends could put the dead frog inside. The hallways were mostly empty as she quickly turned the combination lock and pulled open her locker door. She was too late. The smell hit her first, formaldehyde mixed with something worse. Inside, a biology-classed frog specimen lay on top of her history textbook, its dead eyes staring up at her. Someone had cut it open beyond what was done in class. "Gross," she whispered, fighting back the urge to gag. "Need some help with that?" Sophia turned to find Mr. Rodriguez standing nearby with a plastic bag and some paper towels. "I overheard some students yesterday," he explained, handing her the supplies. "I was coming to warn you that I see they moved faster than expected." Together they cleaned out the locker in silence. When they finished, Mr. Rodriguez said, "This has gone far enough. We need to report this." "No," Sophia said firmly. That would just make things worse. Then what's your plan? He asked, because this isn't going to stop on its own. Sophia thought for a moment. I just need to get through today. My grandfather is actually coming to visit this weekend. He's good with handling difficult situations. Mr. Rodriguez looked like he wanted to say more but just nodded instead. If you change your mind, my door is open. The day dragged on endlessly. Sophia could feel disappointment radiating from Taylor's group when she didn't react to the prank. She caught them whispering several times, and the phrase Plan B made her stomach twist with anxiety. During lunch, she sat with Nisha and explained what was happening. You can't walk home alone today, Nisha insisted. They're planning something. My mom's picking me up, Sophia assured her. I'll be fine. But when the final bell rang, Sophia's phone buzzed with a text from her mother. Emergency at hospital. Running late. Can you wait 30 minutes or take bus? Sophia texted back that she'd wait, then slipped her phone into her pocket. Most students rushed out into the rain, eager to get home. Sophia took her time, hoping to wait out both Taylor's group and the heavy rainfall. After 20 minutes in the library, she figured it was safe to head out to the parking lot to wait for her mom. The rain had softened to a light drizzle. She pulled up her hood and pushed open the side door that led to the parking area. She immediately knew she'd made a mistake. Taylor stood under the covered walkway with Ryan and 2 other boys from their group. A girl Sophia recognized as Zoe, another of Taylor's friends, stood slightly behind them, looking uncomfortable. Well, look who it is, Taylor said sweetly. Little Miss Mystery all alone. Sophia glanced around. The parking lot was nearly empty, with just a few cars belonging to teachers or staff who worked late. She could turn around and go back inside, but that would mean showing fear. I'm just waiting for my ride, Sophia said calmly, though her heart was racing. We wanted to talk to you, Ryan said, stepping forward. About how you embarrassed Alex in martial arts club. And how you think you're too good for the rest of us, added Taylor. I never said that, Sophia replied, keeping her voice steady. Taylor stepped closer, her finger pointing at Sophia's face. You didn't have to say it. It's how you act. Like you've got some big secret that makes you special. I don't have any secrets, Sophia lied. I just want to be left alone. Too bad, Taylor snapped, her fake sweetness vanishing. Nobody disrespects me and gets away with it. She nodded to Ryan, who moved to block Sophia's path back to the school door. The other 2 boys spread out, forming a half circle around her. Only Zoe stayed back, looking increasingly worried. Taylor, maybe this isn't, Zoe started. Shut up, Taylor cut her off. She needs to learn. Taylor stepped even closer, her hand raised as if to slap Sophia's cheek. Not so tough now, are you? In that moment, time seemed to slow down for Sophia. She saw Taylor's hand coming toward her face. She could block it easily. She could even counter in a way that would put Taylor on the ground in seconds. Her body tensed, ready to react with the moves her grandfather had drilled into her for years. But then she heard his voice in her head. Real power is knowing when not to use it. Instead of blocking, Sophia simply took a step back. Don't do this, Taylor. Too late, Taylor hissed, her hands still moving forward. At that exact moment, a deep, rumbling voice cut through the tension like thunder. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Everyone froze. Sophia's eyes widened as she looked past the group toward the parking lot entrance. There, stepping out of a black SUV, was her grandfather, his muscular frame unmistakable even in the rain, his deep voice carrying across the parking lot with the authority that had commanded movie sets for decades. Vin Diesel had arrived early. Everyone in the parking lot seemed frozen in place. The rain fell softly around them as Vin Diesel walked toward the group, his footsteps heavy on the wet pavement. Taylor's hand was still raised mid-air, her face shifting from anger to confusion. Grandpa, Sophia said, her voice small with surprise. He wasn't supposed to arrive until tomorrow. The word grandpa seemed to echo in the silence. Taylor's eyes widened as she looked back and forth between Sophia and the famous actor approaching them. Wait, what did she just say? Ryan whispered, his tough guy act melting away. Vin Diesel moved with the same powerful confidence he showed in his action movies, but his eyes were fixed on Taylor's still raised hand. He stopped a few feet away, raindrops beating on his bald head. Everything okay here, Soph? He asked, his deep voice gentle despite the steel behind it. Taylor's hand finally dropped to her side. Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. "I've got it under control," Sophia answered, standing a little straighter. A hint of pride flashed in her grandfather's eyes. "I can see that. You remembered what I taught you." Is he really?" Zoe stammered from behind Taylor. Vin stepped forward and put his arm around Sophia's shoulders. "I'm her grandfather," he said simply, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. "And you are?" The simple question seemed to shake Taylor out of her shock. I'm Taylor," she managed to say. "We were just about to hit my granddaughter." Vin finished for her, his voice eerily calm. "That's what it looked like from where I was standing." Ryan took a step back. "No, sir, we were just talking. Right, Taylor?" Taylor couldn't seem to form words. Her face had gone pale. "Phone's out," Sophia noticed suddenly. "They're recording this." Sure enough, the boy to Taylor's left had his phone pointed right at them, and from the corner of her eye, Sophia could see students who had hung back after school pressed against the windows, also filming with their phones. "Well," Vin said with a small smile, "I guess the secret's out now." He turned to fully face the students. "My granddaughter wanted a normal school experience. That's why nobody knew who her family is. She wanted people to like her or not like her for who she is, not because of me." His words hung in the air, making Taylor and her friends look at the ground in shame. "But it looks like normal didn't work out so well, did it?" He continued, his deep voice carrying across the parking lot. "Mr. Diesel," Taylor finally found her voice. "We didn't know. Would it have mattered if you did?" he interrupted. "Would you have been kind to her because she's my granddaughter instead of treating her the way you have been?" Taylor had no answer for that. "My grandfather taught me that real strength isn't about fighting," Sophia said, finding her courage. "It's about when to walk away, even when you could win." And sometimes, Vin added, real strength is standing up and saying enough. By now, a small crowd had gathered at the edge of the parking lot. Phones were out everywhere, recording the scene. Sophia could practically feel the videos uploading to social media in real time. "Let's go, Soph," her grandfather said gently. "Your mom's stuck at the hospital, so I came to surprise you." As they turned to walk away, Zoe suddenly called out, "I'm sorry, Sophia, for everything." Sophia paused and looked back. "Thanks." Taylor seemed to find her nerve again. "This doesn't change anything," she said, but her voice shook. "So what if your grandfather is famous? You still?" "That's enough," came another voice. Mr. Rodriguez was walking across the parking lot toward them, his face serious. "Taylor, Ryan, everyone involved, my office, right now." As Taylor and the others reluctantly followed the teacher inside, Mr. Rodriguez nodded respectfully to Vin. "Big fan, sir. Your granddaughter has your dignity." "She's got more than I ever had at her age," Vin replied with a small smile. In the car, Sophia finally let out a long breath. "I didn't want it to happen like this." "I know, kid," her grandfather said, starting the engine. "But sometimes life doesn't give us a choice about when our secrets come out." "Everyone's going to know by tonight," Sophia said, watching the rain streak down the window. "The videos are probably already going viral." Vin reached over and squeezed her shoulder. "Then we deal with it. Together. That's what family does." As they drove away from the school, Sophia's phone began buzzing nonstop with notifications. She turned it off and leaned back in her seat, suddenly exhausted. "Thanks for showing up when you did," she said quietly. "Always," her grandfather replied. "Though from what I saw, you were handling it just fine on your own." For the first time in weeks, Sophia smiled a real smile. Tomorrow would be complicated, but for now, she was safe with family who understood her. And maybe, just maybe, the worst was behind her. She had no idea how wrong she was about that. By the next morning, everything had changed. Sophia woke up to her phone exploding with messages, friend requests, and notifications. The videos had indeed gone viral overnight, not just in school, but across the internet. #Vin Diesel's granddaughter was trending, and several entertainment news sites had already picked up the story. "You okay?" her mom asked, bringing Sophia a cup of hot chocolate as she sat up in bed. "Not really," Sophia admitted. "I didn't want this kind of attention." Downstairs, her grandfather was already fielding calls from his publicist and manager. Sophia could hear his deep voice rumbling through the floorboards as he paced the living room. Her phone buzzed with a text from Principal 1. Please come to my office with your family at 9 a.m. to discuss yesterday's incident. When they arrived at school, Sophia felt every eye on her. Students whispered as she passed, some even asking for selfies, which she politely declined. Her grandfather walked beside her, his presence causing a wave of excitement through the hallways. Inside the principal's office, Taylor and her parents were already waiting, along with Mr. Rodriguez and a school counselor. Taylor looked like she hadn't slept, her usual perfect appearance disheveled and her eyes red-rimmed. Principal 1 cleared her throat. I've reviewed the videos from yesterday and spoken with several witnesses. This appears to be part of an ongoing pattern of bullying against Sophia. Taylor's father, a well-dressed man with a stern expression, shook his head. My daughter says it was just a misunderstanding that got blown out of proportion. With all due respect, sir, Mr. Rodriguez interjected, I've observed this situation developing for weeks. This was deliberate harassment. Taylor stared at her hands, saying nothing. Principal 1 continued, Our school has a zero-tolerance policy for bullying. The standard consequence would be suspension, possibly expulsion given the severity. Taylor's mother gasped. Expulsion would ruin her college applications. To everyone's surprise, Sophia spoke up. I don't want that. All eyes turned to her. Punishing them doesn't fix anything, she explained quietly. It just creates more anger. VIN placed a supportive hand on his granddaughter's shoulder. Sophia has a point. In my experience, people deserve a chance to make things right. Principal 1 leaned forward. What do you suggest instead? Community service, Sophia said. And maybe they could help with something positive at school. Show them there's more to life than being popular or pushing others down. Taylor finally looked up, confusion clear on her face. Why would you give us a break after what we did? Sophia met her gaze steadily. Because my grandfather taught me that holding grudges hurts you more than the other person. The principal nodded thoughtfully. I like that approach. Taylor and the others involved will complete 40 hours of community service at the local youth center. They'll also help organize and participate in our new anti-bullying program. I think I can help with that, VIN offered. My foundation has developed anti-bullying resources for schools. We'd be happy to bring them here. As they worked out the details, Sophia noticed something shift in Taylor's expression, the hard shell cracking to reveal something vulnerable underneath. When the meeting ended and they stepped back into the hallway, chaos awaited. News vans were parked outside the school, and students clustered around trying to catch a glimpse of the famous actor. I didn't think about this part, Sophia groaned. Her grandfather chuckled. Fame is its own kind of trouble, but we'll handle it. He pulled out his phone and made a quick call. Within minutes, his security team arrived to help them navigate the crowd. As they prepared to leave, Taylor approached hesitantly. Can I talk to you for a second? She asked Sophia. When Sophia nodded, Taylor continued, I don't understand why you're being nice to me. I was awful to you. Being mean back wouldn't make me feel better, Sophia replied. You could have taken me down easily in that parking lot, couldn't you? Taylor asked, a new respect in her voice. Your grandfather really taught you all that stuff. Sophia nodded. Since I was 7. Would you? Taylor paused, swallowing hard. Would you maybe show me sometime? Not to use against people, just. I think it's cool how you stayed so calm. Before Sophia could answer, her grandfather called her name. They needed to leave before the situation outside got more chaotic. Maybe, Sophia said as she turned to go. Let's get through the community service first. On the drive home, her grandfather studied her thoughtfully. You surprised me back there, kiddo. Most people would want revenge. I'm not most people, Sophia replied with a small smile. I had a good teacher. VIN laughed. You're right about that, but the hard part's just beginning. What do you mean? Managing the attention. Dealing with people who only see you as my granddaughter now, not as yourself. It's why your mom and I tried to keep things quiet for so long. Sophia looked out the window at the passing town that would never feel the same again. So what do we do now? We take control of the narrative, he said. And tomorrow, I've got an idea that might help with that. What kind of idea? Her grandfather smiled. How do you feel about speaking at a school assembly? 3 months later, Westlake High School was a different place. The morning sun streamed through the windows of the newly built martial arts training center as Sophia guided a group of younger students through a basic defensive stance. "Remember, it's not about fighting," she explained, walking between the rows of students on blue practice mats. "It's about confidence and control." At the back of the room, Taylor watched carefully before mimicking the stance. In the weeks since the incident, she had become one of Sophia's most dedicated students, showing up early and staying late after each practice. The training center had been funded by the VIN Diesel Foundation, along with a comprehensive anti-bullying program that was now being implemented in schools across the district. The foundation's logo, a simple design showing two hands supporting each other, hung on the wall beside posters about respect and strength. "Good form, everyone," Sophia said as the session ended. "See you Thursday." As the students filtered out, Taylor stayed behind to help roll up the mats. "Can I ask you something?" Taylor said, her voice lacking its former edge. "Do you ever miss being normal? Before everyone knew about your grandfather?" Sophia considered this while they worked. "Sometimes, people treat me differently now. Either they're too nice or they want something. But there are good parts too." "Like what?" "Like this," Sophia gestured around the training center, "being able to make a difference." After her grandfather's speech at the school assembly 3 months ago, everything had changed. He hadn't just talked about respect and kindness, concepts that teenagers often tuned out. Instead, he talked about real strength and the choices that define a person. "The toughest scene I ever filmed wasn't a fight sequence," he told the silent auditorium. "It was admitting I was wrong to someone I'd hurt. That took more courage than any stunt." His words had reached students in a way that adult lectures usually didn't. When he and Sophia had announced the new anti-bullying initiative and training center, volunteers had flooded in, including, surprisingly, Taylor. "I'm heading to the youth center after school," Taylor said now, bringing Sophia back to the present. "Want to come? The kids there really look up to you." The youth center was where Taylor and her friends had completed their community service hours. But even after fulfilling the requirement, Taylor had continued volunteering, working with younger kids who faced problems at home or school. "Sure," Sophia agreed. "Let me text my mom." As they walked through the school hallways together, Sophia noticed how different things felt now. Students greeted her normally, without the whispers and stares that had followed her in those first weeks after the revelation. She'd become known for who she was, not just for her famous connection. "Oh hey," Taylor said, stopping by the bulletin board. "Did you see the district-wide peer support program got approved? They're using your design for the logo." Sophia smiled at the familiar logo, an open hand offering help, similar to the foundation's design but with her own twist. The peer support group she'd started for new students had grown into something bigger than she imagined. At lunch, Sophia sat with Nisha, Danny, and Lily, the friends who had stood by her from the beginning. Taylor joined them along with Zoe, who had apologized sincerely after the parking lot incident and made genuine efforts to change. "My cousin's school is adopting your grandfather's program next month," Zoe told Sophia excitedly. "It's spreading all over." "That's great," Sophia said. "But it's not really his program anymore. It's all of ours." After school, Sophia and Taylor walked to the community youth center together. Inside, a group of middle school kids were already waiting, their faces lighting up when they saw Sophia. "Are we learning more moves today?" asked a small girl with bright eyes. "Better," Sophia replied. "Today we're learning how to stay calm when someone's trying to make you angry." As she worked with the children, Sophia caught sight of her grandfather watching quietly from the doorway. He'd been in town for a few days, staying with Sophia and her mom while filming nearby. He gave her a small nod of approval before slipping away, letting her lead without his shadow. Later that evening, they sat on the porch swing at home, talking as the sun set. "You've built something good here," he told her, his deep voice filled with pride. "Better than anything I could have done." "I had a good teacher," she replied. "No," he shook his head. "You had something in you all along. You just needed the right circumstances to bring it out." Sophia thought about everything that had happened, the bullying, the revelation, the changes that followed. "Do you think Taylor's really changed?" she asked. "People can surprise you," her grandfather said, "when they're given the chance." "And a little push," Sophia added with a smile. Her phone buzzed with a message from Nisha about tomorrow's peer support meeting. Beside it was a notification about a news article featuring Westlake's transformation and the remarkable granddaughter of Vin Diesel who turned bullying into a movement for change. She put the phone away without opening either message. The labels didn't matter anymore. New girl, Vin Diesel's granddaughter, anti-bullying advocate. She was just Sophia, finally comfortable in her own skin and the life she was building. So, her grandfather nudged her shoulder gently. What's next? Sophia looked out at the neighborhood where she'd arrived as a stranger just a few months ago. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, she said. But there are other schools that could use what we've started here. He smiled, recognizing the familiar determined look in her eyes, the same one he'd seen in the mirror throughout his own life. Well then, he said, let's get to work.